call this meeting order, please rise for the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 would be any citizens desiring to be heard. Hearing none, at this time I'd like to notify the board that I'm going to resign as chairman of the board and turn it over to the vice chair.
Well, that's one. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You've been a
Thank you very much
great
for your
chairman
service.
for several years for us here.
Well, I just got some stuff I got to deal with. I just don't have time to be the chairman of the board. so.
Understood, sir. All right. So we're on to Mike Pearson, vice chairman. So I'll take over the meeting, and item number 4 is consideration and possible action to approve minutes of September 15th and 17th, 2020.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Chairman, if I may, we have a large addendum. On that addendum is 2 plats. The gentleman's here. I'm wondering if the board would be all right with moving those to this slot and doing those plats and then coming back to the bid.
I would have no problem about that. With no objections, we'll go to the addendum, which is the number one is consideration and possible action to approve final plat of Cottonwood Farms in the southwest quarter of section 1017 North Long West.
Yeah. So I got a couple of them here. Sorry, I got Cottonwood and Stone Meadows. They're in the same section.
Well,
Yeah.
then that'd be item 1 and 2.
Yeah, we'll bring them on up.
Yeah.
You got the language on there? There's.
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay.
There's a lot of them there, like I said, 'cause I did 2 plats for the 1 quarter section.
Where's the language at where it's maintained by the?
Roads.
All streets in this edition are private streets, shall be owned and maintained by the Property Owners Association.
That's what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
You got a signature page?
Yeah, it's this front page right here. What do you guys need to sign here?
Well, normally they have, like the Board of County Commissioners, they'll have chair, vice chair, and mayor. Sometimes they set it up just for the chair to sign
Yeah, I thought we did have that, but maybe I just my surveyor must have just left it off.
it. What else say?
Unless it's
Probably
not.
needs a designation.
Oh, I bet it's on this one right here.
Maybe.
No, it's the same.
No, it's
So,
the same.
I propose a compromise. We've done this, so we set a precedence once doing this where the signatures were changed or added, and we approved the plat and then signed it later.
Yeah, if y'all want, I just get it to reprint it, 'cause I can't believe.
I think that's fine. I think, so that was the
This
language
one's the same. This
for
is
Cottonwood.
This is Stone Meadow. It's got the same verbiage there.
Okay, given that, I move we approve the plats contingent upon the signature block being put on, and
If I got-
the chairman can sign it for the board.
Commissioner, am I taking that motion to include the 2 items together?
Yes, 1 and
Yes.
2, yes.
Item 1 and item 2 of the addendum.
I'll second Morgan's motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All of those opposed, none? I vote aye.
If you will,
Motion
go get your
carries.
signature added and reprinted and bring them to me, then or you can get with Mike and then
Okay.
come to me, whichever.
That works. I can't believe we left it off, but I'll just give it a reprint this afternoon. I'll bring it up tomorrow or something.
All righty, good luck.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Okay. So I don't see DQ here for item 3.
Actually, Chairman, if you'll go back to the original agenda with the bid.
Okay. Would we want to consider the Oak Hill because we have item 5 on there? Would we want to consider that because the Ziegler Group or Miss Tony and Mickey are here? We could get them going.
Hey, you're chairman, not like.
They're here for what
Item 5 on the
Road
agenda.
crossing permit.
Oh, okay. We're never, we don't usually have
One
people
other
here
one.
for road crossing permits.
Well, if we make one exception, we ought to make another one as well.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
I wasn't aware.
So we're going to skip to item 5 on the addendum, which is the consideration and possible action of approving the following road crossing permit for Oak Hill Industries, Inc. 4-inch water line going under Seward Road, half-mile east of Pine.
What's the deal on that? I mean, why y'all?
Well, I've got my industrial park there that we don't have built out yet.
Mhm.
We're still building buildings, but I also bought 40 acres and cleaned it up across the street. And it lines right up with the road on top of the hill on the East Oak Hill Road that is on the east end of my property. And that's the safest place for people to enter and exit industrial parks. That's going to be an addition to our industrial park, but right now we're finishing the water lines in Oak Hill Phase 1 or Phase 2, and we're going to go ahead and run it over across to our property across the street on the south side of the road, so that eventually we'll plat that and make it an addition to our industrial park.
So it's a growing concern, commercial concern.
Yeah.
Are you boring that or trenching?
Boring.
Okay.
Is it?
I'll make the motion to approve.
A second. Good.
No,
All right.
I was gonna ask for a motion, but I'm not chairman anymore, so.
Well, you can't be if you want to be. I don't think anybody here would
Well,
object to
started
that.
taking back over, so.
There you go, have it.
I vote aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries.
We'll mail you a copy back once I got it all signed and stamped.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
All right, back to the regular agenda. Item 5, open seal bid 2021-9 for a bridge rehab of circle number 198A, and consideration and possible action to award said bid.
Commissioners, we received 3 bids. There was a mandatory pre-bid conference for this project. The 3 bids did qualify by attending. I will ask after you're open to let me glance through and make sure the mandatory requirements are there on them.
Open on that.
We got to place some mandatory requirements.
Because of the size of the project, it has to have bonds, and I need to make sure that that there's a bid bond and that the affidavits are signed.
Okay. Those are the mandatory requirements. That's what I was, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Where's that one? Go ahead, go ahead,
Bid from Haskell has affidavits and bond.
Okay.
Is there a representative from Kremlin here? Never mind, I just found it. Kremlin has submitted a cashier's check for their surety bond, or for their bid bond, and their affidavit is signed.
here, check this one. Bid.
I've already looked. RRY is the other one I need to look at.
He's got it up there.
Bunch. Okay. 56. So we got one from Haskell Lemon for $224,366.44.
Wow.
That's down to a penny.
RRY has a bid bond and a signed affidavit.
Okay. Interesting.
They didn't look apples for apples to me on that.
There's,
Who was that from, Martin? Not
The-
this one here.
This one, yeah, I'm trying to find the company's name right quick.
That was Kremlin.
Kremlin Welding and Fabrication has bid $56,000.
interesting. Here, I can find it in this one. Help me out there, Marty.
Or RRY is $59,200.
I think
Good for yours, ain't they?
right. Okay, I think what I would like to do is to delay this till Monday, if possible, if we could do that. We don't have our engineer here, he wasn't able to make it. And I'd like for him to be able to go through these bids and get the best bid.
Mark, I did get your price right, didn't I? 59,000.
Yes, I think that's right.
Okay. So you want a table?
Yes.
Get the orange one on the bottom. Get the orange one on the bottom.
All right. Thank you much. All right, item 6, consideration possible action to approve resolution disposing of Cosera copier for health department.
Ask the board to table that particular item for me, please.
All right, item 7, consideration possible action to approve resolution declaring Dell laptop computer as surplus for the sheriff's department.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 8, consider
Nothing for item 8.
8 or 9?
I do have 9.
9. So that would be appointing receiving officers.
I'll make a
That's
motion
3 there.
we approve.
Second.
For the prefix.
I'll vote aye as well.
If you want to go back to,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. What do we got?
you want to go back to the addendum before we do
Addendum.
consent?
All right. Item 3, consideration and possible action to approve intergovernmental agreement with Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality for remediation in the county 6-story building.
This came with the whole packet when they sent the permit and they sent this, and I mean, so it's all been sent out to you. It's been delayed.
Mhm.
They just can't get started till I get a representative signature, which is generally the chairman, and get it emailed, so.
So Lo has to look at this. I mean, I thought we approved this one.
Just, that was the permit, and to be honest, it was all together in one, and I thought that was the only required. I missed this, quite honestly.
That never happens, so I don't understand it.
So,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
It's only set up for the chair.
Yeah.
We'll look at it more.
Sure. Second word. Asbestos is pavement. I
You
like
have
it.
a
All right. Yes, sir.
item 4 on the
Thank you.
addendum.
Item 4 on the addendum is consideration and possible action to approve agreement between Logan County Sheriff and Guthrie Public Schools for School Resources Officer, August 2020 through May 2021.
I move we approve.
I'll second Marvin's motion.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Now we're back on the regular
Consent agenda.
consent agenda. Item 10.
Payroll.
That work?
I'm sorry.
Too high on that one?
Thank you, guys.
Mark, have a good
Yeah,
day.
thanks, Mark.
Have a good one, Mark.
Y'all too.
You get all the numbers you wanted? Did you want to look at the bids or anything?
Think that's pretty cut and dried to me.
Okay. Very good. I've already got it flagged as Monty, let me go ahead and sign that.
Yeah, you were coming at the time.
So Troy, while we're doing this, sometimes we chat about other things. I was just curious about the court clerk's office and the effect on the court system over there. How's that going to impact, or have you had a chance to?
The court cases, the judges have pushed out anything they had scheduled for this week. The court clerk, I believe, was working by herself until tomorrow, when she could start having employees back.
So my guys got to work this morning, and all they saw was clerk's office closed, and they go, "We're getting our checks today." I can tell where their mind was at.
Absolutely, yeah.
They were all concerned about you, Troy, too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, and I'm always so concerned about them. I made sure I posted this agenda 2 weeks early so that checks would not be hindered if I decided not to come back from vacation.
Have you talked?
You kind of signed her.
I didn't go to
spot,
Utah, just,
or
we
actually
didn't
Mike
go,
did.
my brother sold the cabin, so
It'll
it was
what?
just, I hung out with the
It'll be
fam,
all right.
did some work around mom's house.
There you go.
And Troy, thank you for covering me on the payroll yesterday.
I didn't even mention it to you.
Well, I knew, I just couldn't be there.
I double checked with Smallman, I sent an email this morning, are you two okay for a special meeting on Monday at 11? With the budget maker?
Oh. I think I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Oh.
Monday,
Get notice to officers and post it today.
I wouldn't sign this one here, but you.
Is that mine? Oh, that's sheriff's, that's it.
Mine's already.
You already signed that good one here.
So it'll be a special meeting
Oh, I did.
before or after that?
After at 11.
After 11. Oh, okay.
I have the budget maker here at that time, so, and with officers, we'll do it as a special meeting.
You got any
Oh,
help from
yeah, I
Tony
do,
on this?
transfer. Blankets. Tony and Mike, you'll sign there. Get ready, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Alcoholic beverage tax.
All indicators say that should be up.
Say again?
The alcohol beverage tax should be an increase over what it was this time last year.
August, July, oh yeah, this will be over 20,000. 24 would be good.
23.
23.6. It's up there.
I feel like Troy, I was just spouting off numbers, and I was right.
I don't just. spout
Well,
off
me, I was
numbers.
spouting off numbers.
I usually have some basis. They may be wrong, but I have some basis.
I was spouting off.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to item 11, consideration of possible action on approving funds for payment for September 2020.
Forgot about your eye.
Do it for me, will you? I bet you can see a line in there. I certainly couldn't.
That all goes to King.
That goes with that.
And so does the other one.
Oh.
Woman and,
And this one too. Okay.
you know,
I'll sign this one.
no.
Just that.
The pic, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Langston had more than Crescent.
Couldn't hear you.
College start, okay.
July?
Maybe.
Entertain a motion to approve claims.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consideration and possible action on approving purchase card payments for September of 2020.
On that purchase card, can we use it like to pay for repairs?
We have a spending limit of 5,000, and the only problem with doing the repair is by our policy, me or someone from the office would have to go to the repair shop. I can't hand out the card.
Alright.
So, unless they have an online payment system, but I don't see why we couldn't.
And you know, some of these smaller vendors that does repairs for us, I mean, it's hard for them to write that like 90 days. I mean, it's not always 90 days, but you know, sometimes it really gets dragged out. Another thing I was thinking about is on the drug court, well, not drug court, but our new drug testing deal.
I don't know if I could put it on. I can do some
Just
checking.
Thought, no.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can do some checking.
Okay.
I'll move we approve the purchase card payment.
I'll second with one more comment. Monty had talked about or asked questions about using the purchase card for online auctions and things like that. And I think the way that was left was the auditors thought that was a good idea, but there's no process to do that yet.
No, actually, the current law is that we can't make more than a $5,000 single purchase. That's what's stopping us from the online auction. I spoke to Cindy Bird, the state auditor, about that. She agreed that she thought that should be something made possible, but it's going, and she would support a change, but it's a legislative change that will have to be made to allow that.
Right, and so I guess the follow-up question there is that legislative change going to be presented to the legislature this year to do that?
I'm assuming Cindy said that she would try to line up some legislators that would carry it,
Okay.
so.
I would just like to have that put back on the agenda for us to discuss, to make sure that at least something's going to get presented to make the effective change there, because that'll definitely help the county in a lot of areas.
It only makes sense, huh?
Really. Thank you, ma'am. So I did second that, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Did I call for, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Any citizen desiring to be heard, item 13. Hearing none, on to comments, announcements, questions by the Board of County Commissioners. And I told you guys that I would let you know when I heard something about that grader. And so we got an email yesterday inquiring because we hadn't heard anything. And
Is this the one that someone forwarded me an email I read?
right, this is our 3M,
Alright.
240 3M, and it's underway for getting ready for their appraisal. And so anyhow, this is what we received from Logan.
So if I could, maybe I did send a follow-up to Lowe on that for clarification.
Okay.
And here goes this.
Oops, good catch.
I see.
So, yeah, so once Lowe and I had that back and forth, and I thought I understood exactly what he was talking about. I just wanted to put that in kind of layman's terms. And so Kent Financial will be here at our Monday meeting, I believe.
This isn't an item on the agenda for Monday.
Right.
Okay.
To discuss what they believe the assessed value is, right? And so basically what Lowell said that he agreed a way forward was, not the only way forward, but a way forward was to do what they said, because he looked over the contracts and couldn't figure out any way to avoid that.
Correct.
And that is that the difference between the assessed value and the balloon payment of $185,000, minus some of the incidentals that we talked about here. There's a couple $100 discrepancy between the amortization schedule and the contract. And then also, I believe District 2 continued to make payments after the 60-month payment. So those payments would come off of that difference as well. So
That's correct.
then the county would owe Caterpillar the difference between the balloon payment and the assessed value minus the overpayments.
Correct.
If any. And that's what's on the agenda for Monday, sir.
Yes, and we are right now getting that ready for them. We had a cowling on the rear of it that was busted. We ordered another one. They sent us that one, and it turns out to be the incorrect one. And so we're having to get that back. That's going to take a little bit of time to replace, but not all that much. We got the window was cracked on it. That's about there. Should be today. Putting new tires on it. Should be pretty well ready for their assessment before Monday's meeting, I would hope.
Awesome.
So that's where we're at on that.
Okay.
Any other announcements by the Lord?
I appreciate y'all letting me serve as chairman, and sorry I couldn't finish.
I have only one. Yesterday, I was honored to be asked to speak at with the Senate group that Senator Hall put together, an interim study for the SERV program. It was very, very interesting and very informative, and the questions that were asked by Senator Hall and the members of that Senate committee were very telling, in as much as a lot of them really understand the situation that we're in, not being able to use SERV funds for our county projects, and not being able to use them as some of them think that we should be. We had 6 county commissioners that were speaking. 5 of the 6 recommended some sort of a change in the current program to allow some of that money to be able to be used by the counties at their discretion. I presented a program to where the monies would still be held by ODOT, but to loosen the restrictions and allow the counties to contract for services like we do today to do our projects that would go through ODOT or be announced by ODOT. But unless there was federal funds involved, then ODOT wouldn't absolutely be required to let the project. If federal funds are involved, I can see where they've got the expertise to do that. And so that's something that I support them doing. The CEDA, the folks up there are pretty much against it because there's 14 counties in that CED, and they get to manage all the SERV funds for 14 counties over a 5-year period. In a 5-year program, that means that the CED managers up there get to manage over $100 million in SERV funds. So, like I said, they had the only nay vote. I believe that if they want to keep things the way they are today, if all 14 of those counties want to do that, that's their decision. They should be able to do that. But they shouldn't hold the other counties in the state to that same level. The one-size-fits-all program is not something that works well in Oklahoma. I think we all realize that. And that's the basis of my presentation to the senators yesterday. It was a very good meeting. It was received well. State auditor asked some good questions. Senator Hall asked some real good questions of Randy Robinson and the transportation secretary, and I thought it was a great start. Anyway, I just wanted to give the board an update on that, and also I did take those three recommended changes to legislature that affects the SERB program, the SERB legislation, the legislation that talks about ODOT and OCC-EDB developing county plans and specifications, the county design guide, if you will, that only applies to projects that have federal road money attached to it. And that if it has to do with just county funds or state funds, then we're not actually held to that higher standard. We shouldn't have to acquire additional right of way and all that stuff if it's not actually needed on our county roads. And that will help us from overbuilding. The other thing is if counties are allowed to spend those funds on force account programs where we've got pre-existing contracts available to do that, then the comeback is, well, what do you do about emergencies, right? What would the county do if we had a big bridge that washed out? That's a $2 million bridge, and we don't have the money right then to do that. Well, that's what the ETR fund is for, and that's what I proposed, a small change in that legislation to get rid of the loans for natural gas vehicles and use that as it was intended for emergencies, for emergency funds and emergency projects. And that seemed to be well received by Randy Robinson and the OCC-EDB board, and at least they didn't throw or didn't try and feed me rock candy with a slingshot when I was talking about it. So I think that a compromise in that regard is what we need to try and pursue. Not to quote Barack Obama too much, but if you like your CED operation, you should be able to keep your CED operation. If you want to manage your own stuff, you should be able to manage your own stuff. And I'll leave it with that. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for doing that, Mark. Is that online where we can go back and look at it?
I believe it is. And I think you streamed it?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's on the YouTube page.
Awesome. Thank you.
I watched it live.
Anybody else? Nope. All right. Well, item 15 then, consideration of possible action on adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Guys,
Meeting
thank
is
you.
adjourned.